Listen to the audiobook, The Call of the Wild. Level A2, Oxford Reading University.
You will find Part 1 in the description and on our channel. Part 2.
4. Francois and Perrault got different jobs, so they needed to say goodbye to Buck. Soon, Buck got new owners. They were Americans called Hal and Charles. Hal was not a nice man. He always carried a knife and a gun with him. He also had a wife, Mercedes. She had a difficult character. She was lazy and asked for too much attention. All of them were going to Dawson, where people searched for gold. Hal and Charles had very little experience in the North. They were not able to organize the trip well. They put too many things on the sled. When they were about to leave, several men were walking by. They stopped to take a look at the sled. Then one of them said, "Do you think it will ride?" "Why do you think it won't?" Charles asked. "Well, it looks a little heavy," the man replied. "The dogs are strong. It will certainly move," Hal said very coldly. After everything was ready, Hal ordered the dogs to go, but the sled was actually too heavy. Hal grew really angry. He hit the dogs, but they just couldn't move. "Stupid, lazy dogs," he shouted. Mercedes cried and talked to the dogs, asking them to pull harder. Finally, the sled started to move, but it could not go fast. Charles and Hal bought more dogs to pull the heavy sled. However, they didn't know how to train them. Mercedes was too lazy to walk, so she always wanted to ride the sled, making it even heavier. The whole trip was a complete disaster. Some of the dogs died because there was no food. Others were so hungry and tired that they were almost dead. Buck did not like his new owners even a little bit. After many days, the team arrived at the camp of John Thornton. He was a gold hunter. "The ice is so thin on the river," Thornton said to Hal. "How did you make it alive?" "I guess we were lucky," Hal replied. "And soon we will cross the river again. We need to get to Dawson." "This is very stupid," Thornton said. "The ice can break at any moment. I think your lives are more important to you than any amount of gold." "We are going, no matter what," Hal told him, and he hit the dogs. He wanted them to get up, but the animals were too tired. Buck lay on the ground and did not even try to move. He did not feel pain. It seemed like his body and his brain were not connected anymore, and he was going to die. Hal continued hitting him. Suddenly, Thornton let out a cry. He didn't sound like a human, but more like an animal. He took Hal by the shoulders. Hal gave him a wild, angry look. "If you don't stop hitting that dog, I will kill you," Thornton said. "It is my dog. I can do what I wish with it," was Hal's response. He took out his knife and wanted to attack Thornton, but Thornton knocked the knife out of his hand. "Give this dog to me, and do what you like with the rest," Thornton suggested. Hal was too tired to argue. And anyway, Buck was in such an awful condition that he was quite useless. So he cut Buck's belt and gave the dog to Thornton. Then Hal and his team rode off to the river. Thornton got down on his knees next to Buck and looked at him carefully. The dog had no broken bones, but he was very thin and beaten. Suddenly, they heard a loud noise coming from the river. The ice was too thin, so it broke, and Hal's sled fell through. Buck and Thornton watched them disappear under the water. 5. John Thornton's feet were hurt in an accident. He slowly got better and waited for the winter to end. Then he was going to join his friends at Dawson. Now Buck was also getting better. He ate well, rested, and felt quite happy and at peace. Thornton had 2 more dogs. To him, they were all like children. For the first time in his life, Buck learned what love was. Back in California, he was on good terms with the people on the farm. However, they were just good friends. With Thornton, it was different. Buck lay at his feet, watching his movements and facial expressions. His heart was full of love, and so was Thornton's. One night, Thornton wanted to stop a fight at the bar. One of the men there was about to attack him, but Buck was quicker. He jumped at the man and almost bit through his neck. On another occasion, Thornton fell out of his boat. The river was fast and it carried him away. Buck swam after him, and with the help of other men, they pulled Thornton out of the water. But Buck's wild nature was still there, although he loved Thornton very much and lived a comfortable life. He stole food from other people in the village, and when he fought as hard as ever. When the warm spring air blew, Thornton, his friends, and his dogs took to the road. Buck was really happy. They caught fish, walked through enormous forests, and saw many strange and exciting things. And so they traveled through hills and valleys for many months. Finally, they found what they were searching for: a gold field. The men were now busy collecting little pieces of yellow metal, and the dogs had nothing to do. Buck spent long nights by the fire, lost in thought. When he got bored, he started taking walks in the woods. He felt strange. Some voice seemed to be calling him, and everything inside him responded to it. One night, a strange sound woke him up. It was a long, sad call, and Buck wanted to know who it belonged to. He jumped onto his feet and ran into the woods. As he got closer to the sound, he walked more slowly. Finally, he reached an open place among the trees and saw a wolf. The animal looked up at the moon, howling. Buck wanted to make friends with him, but the wolf ran away. Buck followed him. Soon the wolf realized that Buck was not going to hurt him. They ran side by side for a bit, until they reached a small river. Suddenly, Buck remembered Thornton, and felt the need to return to the camp. For the next 2 days, Buck did not leave Thornton's side for a second. But the strange feeling was still there. The woods were too attractive. He continued his trips to the forest, sometimes spending days at a time there. He killed rabbits for food, and it felt very natural for him. He tried to find his wolf brother, but did not succeed. One day, Buck was coming back to the camp after 4 days in the woods. Suddenly, a strange feeling came over him. The air seemed to be different. Buck couldn't help but think that something awful was going to happen. As he was getting closer to the camp, his steps became more careful. A strange smell made him turn his head. That was when he saw one of Thornton's dogs. The dog was dead, and it had an arrow in its side. Then there was another dead dog. Buck heard voices singing in the distance, and then saw one of Thornton's friends. The man lay face down on the ground, his back covered with arrows. Several Native American men were dancing and singing in the middle of the camp. Buck allowed himself to go completely crazy. He did that because he loved John Thornton. He jumped forward and started killing the men, one by one. He hated them more than anyone else on earth. Buck managed to kill 3 of them, and the rest ran away. Buck searched the camp and discovered John Thornton and his friends' dead bodies. He sat by the river and did not move. There was only one man he loved, and he was dead now. Nothing connected Buck to the human world anymore. So when he heard another wolf call from the woods, he had no choice. He followed it. Several wolves sat under the trees. One of them attacked Buck, but he was stronger, and he broke the wolf's neck easily. 3 other wolves tried to fight him too, but failed. Then one of them came closer to Buck. It was his wolf brother. He sat down and howled. Buck sat down and howled too. It meant that they accepted him as a member of their pack. Then the wolves stood up and ran away into the deep forest, and Buck followed them. To this day, people who live in that area tell a legend. According to the legend, a ghost dog lives in the woods nearby. He runs with the wolves and howls like them, but he is not a wolf. People are afraid of him because he kills their animals and steals from their camps. There is a valley they never visit because it is dangerous. Every year, a wolf that looks more like a dog comes to the valley. He sits by the river and howls sadly. Then he leaves to join his wolf brothers.
If you like this video, we will know you want more stories like this. And now, check out another epic audiobook.